What's up, guys? Chris with CNC for Newbies here. Been getting a couple different questions regarding um, regarding some of the parts with uh, accessories to the Z-axis for different machines. So we at CNC for Newbies we offer many different Z-axes for our machine and for upgrades. Okay. Um, so you may be running one of our Z axes on a, let's say, an X carve. Okay. We have a very popular upgrade, high speed Z axis. Uh, with that, you can run a square body spindle, you can run a round body spindle, or you can run a router. Okay. Um, we achieve this by having different mounts. So whenever you're going through and you're putting in for your Z-axis, you want to make sure that you're purchasing the Z-axis you want and then also the mount for what you're going to use. I've had a couple guys that wanted to use shorter tooling and they didn't understand why it wouldn't go down, why the tooling wouldn't go down to the spoil board. Okay, that's where the drop plate comes in. The drop plate allows you to lower your spindle mount or your router mount so that you can use shorter tooling like PCB tooling, um, and shorter end mills and stuff like that. Um, a lot of guys were kind of confused as to what those accessory plates were. And that's one of the things that uh, allows the Z axis to be so versatile and accommodate so many machines. So if you're looking at doing like a Z axis upgrade to your machine, make sure you're looking at what your application is and what accessories are available for uh, the Z-axis that you're looking at. Um, I have experience with CNC for newbies, obviously, but um, I've had experience with the what used to be TBD CNC. Um, I've had experience with open builds. I've had experience with um, a lot of DIY stuff. Um, when you're dealing with a mass produced product, you want to the company wants to make it available for as many applications as possible, and an easy way to do that are accessory plates. So as you guys start upgrading your Z axes, um, you start upgrading your from a router to a spindle. You start looking at um, like shorter tooling, longer tooling. um, Make sure that you're getting the accessories that match your application. And if you're unsure, there most companies, most people who manufacture this stuff will be able to tell you what you need to match up. So I would say reach out to them and see where you're at with it, because one of the worst things that can happen is you buy one part and then you make an assumption because that's how this company did it or that's how that company did it. Um, you need to make sure that you're getting all the parts that you need to make your project run smoothly, um, or transition smoothly. Um, and part of that is the accessory plates and stuff like that. There are people out there that make DIY upgrades, um, and they may be able to drill holes specific for your application. So when you're looking at this, make sure that, like, if you buy a z-axis for a square body, you might need an adapter plate for the square body spindle you're choosing. Ask the company or the person making your upgrade to do they have something that matches that square body hole pattern, or could they make it so that you can use your square body spindle. Likewise, if you're going to be doing shorter tooling, you might need to move down closer. So is there an application where you can retain the movement of the z-axis and have the drop down to get your short tooling down to the spoil board? Likewise, you may be using longer tooling, like a 4-inch to 6-inch end mill with a 3-inch cutting area. You may need to raise your spindle up. Is there enough room on your Z plate, on your Z mounting plate, to raise your spindle mount and to lift your spindle up that high? These are all things that are individual to your machine and your applications. So whenever you look at this stuff, make sure you take that into account. Unfortunately, we like to say the customer is always right. As businesses, we like to say the customer is always right. Um, the customer is not always right, uh, because they sometimes want what is not applicable, if that makes sense. So they want the thinnest z-axis, so it takes up the least amount of x space, but they want to be able to mount a 5 kilowatt spindle on an X carve. True story. um, it just doesn't happen. That machine is not rigid enough. So that's where you need to consult with whoever is doing your upgrade, whoever is making your upgrade, to see what is applicable. Maybe somebody's already tried mounting a 3 kilowatt spindle on an X carve, and they were like, yeah, that's too heavy, it doesn't work. um, it's one of those things that, as a consumer, we need to make sure that we converse what our application is going to be with what our projected outcome is, and see if the person doing the upgrade for you or the company you're buying an upgrade from actually meets those parameters. Because many of the companies just make stuff that people are asking for, and your application may not be one that they've asked for in the past, been asked for in the past. um, it's quite a daunting task sometimes to process what people are being asked to make for someone's machine application. um, but and at the end of the day, you can find a way to do it. It's just a matter of making sure that you're clear on what your application and intention is, and see if that company or person can meet those standards. So just something to think about, guys. Like I said, it was something I've been getting some comments about and emails about, and I thought, hey, this would make a good live to explain, um, like just from the z axes that I experience. um, you know there are different adapter plates to facilitate a mass produced z axis and allow that z axis to accommodate many other applications. Um, So with that being said, I'll let you guys go. Just wanted to go live and explain that little bit to you guys. All right. Have a good one.